Okay, so we're gonna go over the homework that I gave you over the weekend. It's right here. So the first part of the homework is to write sentences in the passive. And if you're still struggling with this, I recommend going onto the class website on week 4, all the way at the bottom of the grammar videos. You're gonna see I put in some charts for you just to really quickly look at some examples of the passive in different tenses. So let's go ahead and try to get the homework finished. So here we have Samuel writes Sarah a letter every day. So this one actually has two answers. The first thing I like to do is to make sure I understand what tense the sentence is in. So here, right, it's the present simple tense. And then remember, you have to find out the object of the sentence. That means the noun that comes after the verb. So here we actually have two. We have Sarah and a letter. So my answer, let's start with Sarah first. Oops, sorry. Sarah is, right, because it's in the present tense. And then remember, we always have to use the third form of the verb, or the past participle. Sarah has written a letter every day by Sam. So this goes here. Sarah's written a letter every day by Samuel. Okay, so that's one of the answers I can have. Now let's see if I can do another type of sentence. This is my other object. A letter is written to Sarah every day by Samuel. So both of these are correct. I would probably choose this to write this one because it's a little bit easier. If you write this one, you have to add 2, just so you know. So this one has 2 possible answers. Okay, let's move on to number 2. The police caught the thief when he fell on the sidewalk. So at first it looks a little bit scary because the sentence is a little bit long. But remember, you should only focus on the subject, the verb, and the object. That's the most important thing. Okay? So here we have the thief is my object, and I only have one object in this sentence. So the thief let me make this a little bit bigger here. Okay, so it's in the past tense. Remember, whenever we have a passive form, we have to use a form of the be verb. So because this is past, I have to use was, and then it's always going to be the third form of the verb. So the third form of the verb caught is caught. Thief was caught. And then I have my by phrase, by the police when he fell on the sidewalk. So I just put all of this and it stays in the same place, stays at the end. So the only thing that you have to move around is the subject, the verb, and the object in that sentence. So don't get scared if you see that. The 2 friends are eating 5 big pizzas. So first thing that you have to see, okay, it's in the present progressive. And I have my object here, 5 big pizzas. So this whole thing is my noun. So I have to make sure I include it in my answer. 5 big pizzas. Just like that. and it's in the present tense, right? So I have to say are being eaten by the two friends. Okay, and again, if you're still having trouble with it, make sure you go back to this chart. So here, right, we have the present continuous. So we have to always take this form, is being, and then the past participle of the main verb in the sentence. Okay, the next one, the teacher has already given the homework. So this one is it's in the present perfect. I'm sorry. And we have the homework is the object, right? It comes after the verb. So let's start with that one. And I apologize. It seems that the program is acting a little bit strange. It keeps blinking, so don't think it's anything wrong with your computer or anything. I think this program is a little bit having trouble with it. Okay, so let's start the homework. Okay, so let's go. This one's a little bit tricky, so I want to go back and make sure I got the chart. Present perfect, right? So this is the form it's going to take, has, and then I have to add been, and then the third form of the verb. So the homework has, and then the already stays in the same place. Has already, and I add been, given by the teacher. And that's how it goes. Okay, last one. Oh, we're done with the passives then. So let's try to do the conditionals. The conditional homework I gave you is a lot easier because we have to learn 4 conditionals, starting with the 0 conditional. So remember, we use the 0 conditional when we want to talk about something that's generally true. And both times when you use it, the if clause, right, where we start if, it's going to take the present simple, and then the second clause will also take the present simple, okay? So that shouldn't be that hard. Let's try to see if we can do it. Okay, so walk for an hour every day. You want to get some exercise. So this is my if clause, right? Because it doesn't make sense if walk for an hour every day. I have to say if you walk for an hour every day. So let's start with that. If you walk for an hour, oopsie, having some spelling issues, every day, and then don't forget your comma after that clause. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh my god, I made a mistake. I'm sorry. This is so irritating. If you want to get some exercise, walk for an hour every day. Okay, so both of my main verbs in both clauses are in the present tense. Yoshi watches TV. He gets sleepy. So this one's a little bit different. We have to use when. So which one happened first? I would say probably Yoshi watched TV first, and then when he does that, he gets sleepy. So I'm gonna say when Yoshi watches TV, he gets sleepy. And I spelled this one wrong. Sorry about that. Okay. When Yoshi watches TV, he gets sleepy. Okay, so both of them are in the present tense. Okay, so this one's the first conditional. So remember from our chart here that most of the time when we have the first conditional, the if clause, right, that's the part that has the if in it, it's in the present simple, and then the second clause is going to be using will or won't, and then the main verb. So here, if Alexandra Bayer will win or wins the election next month, I am confident that she will work for better education. So we have if Alexandra Bayer. Okay, if you're still confused, go back. So remember the if clause here, it takes the present simple. So then that means this is my if clause. I have to take the present simple. So this is my answer. Let's see if I can highlight it so you can see it. Oops. No, that's not what I want highlighted. It appears that my highlighter isn't working properly. But, anyway, yeah, so here it's if Alexandra Bayer wins. So circle this. The election next month, I am confident that she will work. Right? The second clause takes will. Number 4, schools don't improve by the year 2010 if we won't or don't increase teacher salaries. So remember, the if clause can come at the beginning or it can come the second clause. It's both forms are correct. So here they're trying to trick you. Make sure that you don't get fooled here. So we have the if clause, and remember the if clause always has to take the present simple when we're using the first conditional. So here, this one is the present simple, right? If we don't increase the teacher salary. So then that means my second clause has to take will or won't, and this is the one that has won't. So the correct answer reads, schools won't improve by the year 2010 if we don't increase the teacher salaries. Okay? Let's go down a little bit. Okay, this is the second conditional, and again, look at your chart. Make sure that you're following along. So here it says my if clause has to be in the past simple, and then my second clause has to take would, and then the verb. Okay? And this is used for something that I don't really think will happen, but I hope it will. Okay? So this one, if we blank the lottery, we blank a new house. So I have my if clause here, and then remember, go back. If clause for the second conditional takes the past simple. So here, what's the past tense of win? Won, right? So if we won the lottery, we would buy a new house. Okay? And then the second one, we have the if clause in the second part, so don't get confused. So then this one has to take would, right? Jaime, let me see if I can add the text here. Jaime would do well if he... So what's the past tense of go? Went back to school now. Oops, I'm sorry. Let's put this okay. And then the third conditional, which is the most difficult and the one that students have the most problems with. So let's go look at our chart just to make sure. The third conditional, my if clause, has to take the past perfect, which we haven't talked that much in class about, but it takes had and then the past participle. Okay? Then we have to use would, have, and then the past participle. So it's kind of a lot to remember, so don't get confused. So here, right, remember, this isn't my if clause, so I have to use I would have told you if I, and then here I have to use my past perfect if I had understood the policy. And then the next one, we would have seen him if he had been at the party. So I hope that the video helped, and let me know in class on Monday if you had any questions or if you had any more trouble with it.